Hi guys, Jay here again. I've got some recommendations and modifications for how we might adapt our CrossFit linchpin workouts for kids. We're looking at a traditional pressing heavy day that has been programmed on CrossFit linchpin a few times. We've got 5 singles for shoulder press, 5 threes for push press, and 5 fives for our push jerk. Now, as I've previously mentioned in other videos, that heavy days aren't something that will stimulate a strength growth in the children. What we want to stimulate that strength growth is being in good positions, developing awareness and sound mechanics. So we wouldn't use this workout when we're addressing our kids for a pressing day. I've actually approached this in a slightly different way than I have done previously for this workout. I've looked for some key elements that we need to include in our CrossFit Kids workouts as often as possible. And I hope to give you some explanation into why we do that. So for our advanced kids, we've got an AMRAP in a given time, and that's the same for each of our workouts. Now, I haven't specified the AMRAP, the length of the AMRAP, and that's because we want the kids to move through the AMRAP for as long as possible, but only while they're maintaining good mechanics. We're not exhausting them. We're not taking them to the point of exhaustion. And also, we're not taking them to the point of boredom. So it's really important that we just cut it off as soon as the children have had enough. Now, with our advanced kids, for example, my son, I think I would look to get him in around 10 minutes. And that would be the upper limit of how long I would program that workout for him. I think that he has the emotional maturity to cope with a workout for that length of time. For our less experienced children, it would probably be more in the region of 5 to 6, maybe 7 minutes. And our no equipment option is depending on where your children are at. If they are less experienced, we're erring more towards the time of about 5-minute time domain. And if they're more experienced, closer to that 10 minutes. But you'll know your own children and where the limits of their capacity are. So for our strength element of our workout today, I've got the children doing an overhead carry for 10 meters in distance. Now we want them to develop that strength in that nice finishing position of our presses, that nice overhead position, and being comfortable in that position overhead. So whether they're carrying a plate, some dumbbells, a school bag, or anything else you have around the house, like some tin cans, for example. So even in our no equipment option, they're actually going to be hopefully using some equipment in something they could find, maybe a school bag. It doesn't matter what object it is. What we want to be thinking about is that position that they're in, that nice overhead position, and time under tension in that position there. That's where we're going to be developing some strength there, getting an awareness of what that position looks like. And we've got some box jumps in here. Now, box jumps and movements like the box jump are really important for something called impact loading. And that's when there's jumping, and then they're jumping and landing involved in the movement. And these are really crucial for increasing bone density in our children. And then again, another really important element of CrossFit Kids workouts is movements that stimulate the vestibular system. And there are not many exercises better at stimulating the vestibular system than the handstand and the handstand hold. So for our advanced kids, they're going to be doing an AMRAP in a given time of 10 meter overhead carry with either a plate, a dumbbell, or any other objects you have around the house. I've got some videos of some variations you might use for that. Box jumps. Now we vary the box jump height depending on the experience of our children. And a handstand hold. I've got some videos of handstand hold variations depending on the level of experience and how comfortable your children are at getting upside down. For our less experienced children, again, our AMRAP, but we're erring towards a shorter length of time. We've got a 10 meter overhead carry at a load that they can carry and not be compromised in their position overhead. We've got 5 to 10 lower box jumps, but depending on where they're at, in terms of the number of reps and in terms of the height. And then we've got a 10-second handstand hold variations. Now our video, I've got 4 handstand hold variations for you. We're gonna have a pike plank position. We're gonna have a half wall walk. We're gonna have a full wall walk into a handstand. And we're going to have a kicking up into the handstand for those children that can do that. And the only really difference for our no equipment option today is going to be a tuck jump. And really in place of a tuck jump, you might have the children jump over an object. It could be jump over their bag, and that could be jumping over facing, or it could be a lateral jump if you want to give them a slightly different stimulus from the tuck jump. But the tuck jump there is perfectly suitable for this workout. So really just to recap on that workout is that we're building strength in that overhead position by keeping them under tension for a period of time. We are giving them some opportunities for impact loading, so giving them opportunities to develop that bone density. And also we're developing the vestibular system, where we are allowing the children to develop that awareness of where they are upside down and where they are in space. We know how crucial those gymnastic skills are. And there are going to be some 4 variations for those. The first overhead variation Jonah's going to show us is with a school bag. He just has his books in there. We don't need to pick a particularly challenging load, just the sort of load that they would use in everyday life. I'm going to ask Jonah to hold his bag overhead with both hands. He's going to press it up. He's going to keep his arms locked out, so he's pressing up, holding up the sky. I'm going to ask him to face the wall for me. You can see that Jonah is keeping the bag in line with his hip, knee, shoulder, and it's directly overhead. Face the front for me, Jonah. And during the workout, he's going to walk 10 meters forwards. Walk 10 forward, Jonah. And then he'll turn around, probably at a 5 meter mark, and he'll walk back to the 5 meter mark, making sure that he's keeping his arms straight the whole time. Bring that bag down for me, Jonah. Great. Our second variation would be for possibly our more advanced children. We're going to pick a load that is challenging for them. However, with our advanced kids, that we know that they can manage themselves under load. We know that they can make adjustments if they get themselves into slightly the wrong position. We know that they're responsive to our cues. So I'm going to ask Jonah to get the dumbbells overhead. He's going to take them to his shoulder. He's going to press them up overhead. He's going to keep them in line with his ears, pressing up, keeping his arms straight. He's going to walk forwards, probably 5 meters. He's going to turn around, keeping the dumbbells overhead, walk back to the start position, and then he'll safely put them down with a flat back. An alternative variation would be holding a plate overhead. We're going to be using the same points of performance that we used for the bag and for the dumbbells. We want them to keep their arms locked out overhead, keeping their arms in line with their ears in a nice position over their head. So I'm going to ask Jonah to pick up the plate with a nice flat back. He's going to press it out overhead. He's pushing it up into the air, so he's pushing up into the sky. We might use the term hold up the sky. He's going to keep that position and walk forwards. He'll turn around at a 5 meter mark. Keeping pushing up, he's going to walk back. Turn around, he's going to bring it down and put it down with a flat back. Nice job. So for our less experienced and our no equipment option, in place of the box jump, we're going to have a tuck jump. So we're going to stay on the spot. Ava's going to jump as high as she can, and she's going to bring her knees up to her chest, and then she's going to land nice and safely with a slight bend in her knees. Jump up for me, big jump. Good job. Will you do another one for me? Bring your knees nice and high. Good job. One more for me, look forwards. Great job. Well done. Our second movement for our advanced kids and for our less experienced kids is going to be a box jump. The difference that we're going to have for our advanced kids and our less experienced kids is going to be the height that they're jumping on. So Jonah's jumping on a box, it's turned over. We're going to make sure that his feet are below his hips before he jumps. He's going to jump up using his arms. As he lands, he's going to make sure that he lands in a partial squat as quietly as possible. Then he's going to stand all the way up. One of the things I'm looking for Jonah to do is, as he lands, is to keep his knees in line with his toes, like we would when we're squatting. So he's going to jump up, land, his knees are tracking his toes, and then he stands all the way up to finish the rep. And then just for safety and control, he's going to step down. Okay, he's going to show us one from the front so we can see his knees tracking his toes. Come this side for me, Jonah. Okay, he's going to jump up and he's going to hold the landing. You can see his knees are in line with his toes. He's going to stand all the way up and then he's going to step down to show some control and safety. Ava here is going to take us through our first handstand hold progression. She's going to hold a piked plank position. This would be for our less experienced athletes who aren't quite comfortable getting vertical or upside down just yet. So she's going to lie down on her belly at the bottom of a push-up position, hands underneath her shoulders. She's going to come up to the top of her plank. From there, she's going to walk her feet forwards a little bit and push her bum in the air. She's going to hold that position and she's going to look at her knees. And she's going to hold that position as best as she can. Okay, our second handstand hold variation is going to be a half wall walk. So I'm going to ask Ava to face me. She's going to lie down on her belly. She's going to have her feet next to the wall, hands underneath her shoulders. She's going to come up to the top of her plank position. From that position, she's going to take one big step up the wall with one foot, and then the next foot goes up and meets the second foot. And she's going to push into the ground, keeping herself nice and strong. And she's going to be in that nice hollow position there that you can see. And she's going to hold that for 10 seconds each round. To come down, she's going to bring one foot down, then the other foot, and then she stands up. Our third variation is going to be a wall walk into a full handstand position. So Jonah is going to press up into the top of a plank. He's going to step his feet up one at a time. And then he's going to gradually walk his hands into the wall and getting himself into that nice vertical position. While he's in that overhead position, he's going to be pressing into the ground, pointing his toes, and he's going to be making sure that his ribs are locked in. To come down, he's going to walk his hands forwards, slide his feet down the wall, making sure he doesn't collapse in the middle. Good job. Our fourth handstand variation is just going to be a kick up into a handstand. So if your children are confident kicking up against a wall, they're just going to step forward with one foot, have their hands ready, and they're going to kick themselves up into that handstand, pressing into the ground, pointing their toes, holding that nice flat position, and then to come down, they just bring one foot down and then the other. Just in summary, really, just want to say, have fun with these movements today. Keep the children moving safe. It's paramount and it's the most important part of training children. Make sure it's fun. Okay, pick a variation, pick a stimulus that the children really enjoy doing, and maybe let them have a say in how they want to approach their workout. Sometimes with my children, I would say, what workout would you like to do today? Here are some movements. How would you like to put them together? So this is a guide for you. Don't be afraid to mix things up depending on what your children would like to do. Remember, they've got to be enjoying it.